I wish my parents knew how much I was bullied at home and at school for living my truth.
I wish my parents didn't have to worry.
How could we have made it easier for you to trust us?
I wish my parents believed, allowed me to be who I am.
I wish I could tell my mom I was gay. It'd make things a lot easier.
I just wish that they were there for me.
I guess I'll go first. What did we do wrong? Is this just a phase?
First off, you didn't do anything wrong. There are certain phases within it. There are phases of discovery, there are phases of acceptance, there are phases of just living your best life. But in the bigger picture, it's not a phase.
I don't think it was a choice. It was something that it was just there.
It takes time to journey for both your son that's coming out and for the parents to accept it and learn this.
A child is a child, a life is a life. I think you do the best that you can, and overall, there's nothing a parent does wrong.
You know, if we are grateful for having children and grateful for being able to be a loving parent, I don't think it's about looking inwards and saying, what did I do wrong? I think maybe it's about honoring the gift you have in front of you.
I don't think you can blame yourself for the way love develops in a person's life. I think that is innate in the person's heart and how their feelings are and their attractions are.
He's never been in a heterosexual relationship. How does he know he's really gay?
How do you know if you're really straight? Which may or may not answer the question, but all of these questions that are developing, how would you answer these situations?
Is being gay unnatural?
Definitely not. It's human nature, it's love, it's happiness.
It's part of the natural world here on Earth. I mean, as long as there's been mankind, there's been men doing gay things.
We wouldn't want this to damage our family life. Should we go to therapy?
Now, I'm the first person to say therapy is not a bad thing.
Therapy is actually a way to process. Therapy is a way to understand each other. If you want to go to therapy to do those things, great. If you want to go to therapy to make your son not gay anymore, that's not therapy, that's a little bit of torture. Possibly child abuse, don't do that.
I was really young. I was 12 years old when we went through this family therapy. One of the most important messages the therapist gave to my parents was that at the time, and this was in the, I'd say, 70s, maybe early 80s, the suicide rates among LGBT, gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender young people were really high, and the acceptance in the community wasn't sufficient. So there was a lot of alienation and isolation, and so my therapist let my parents know that there was a risk here for all kids who go through this, and it was really the therapist's job and most importantly my parents' job to make sure I knew how loved I was. I knew that I had value and worth being alive.
The only thing that will really damage your family is if you don't accept it.
We come from a very traditional Asian culture, you know. How are we gonna tell our friends and family? We have no idea how they're gonna react.
Everything has a time and place. If you're comfortable to even say, hey, this is my gay son, or this is my gay daughter. There's also, this is my child. Because no one announces when you walk into a room, Hi, I'm your straight friend.
So when I came out to my family, I actually only came out to my mom when I was 32 years old. I came out to my brother actually when I was 18 years old and to my friends, but coming out to my parents was a lot harder because when I was living with them, I actually couldn't tell them. We never talked about anything emotional. You know, I don't know how to say the word gay in Cantonese, that's my native language, to my parents at all. So it's something that we've never been able to discuss. And so even when I came out to my mom, I didn't know how to say the word gay. But my brother, he told me, because I told my brother that I came out to my mom. And my brother told me that, oh, they knew all along. They've been reading your reviews on Yelp, and it says gay this, gay that, all over. So they think that's your blog. And they said, oh, you know, but they don't mention the word gay. So it's just something that depends on the different families. Like, we are a little more conservative Chinese is the best way I could describe my family. And that's just something that you just don't talk about.
Does this mean I won't have grandchildren?
No! I was adopted. And I became somebody's grandchild.
In vitro fertilization, surrogates, there's science for God's sake. It's the 21st century. There are ways to have grandkids.
This does not cut you off from having a grandchild at all.
Our religion tells us that homosexuality is wrong. Is it wrong?
You know, that's the first thing that came to my mind when I started to go to church was, oh shoot, I like girls. It's a sin. You know, I was told that it's a sin. And it was always a thing that I brought up to God all the time. God, I have this going on. Please take it away. Because that's what I was taught. It wasn't supposed to be in my life. But it wasn't like I didn't want to stop going to church or I didn't want to keep talking to God and having a relationship with God because I was gay. So I think the real question is homosexuality a sin? That's what people struggle with. And what is sin? It's something that basically separates us from God. Does me being homosexual, does it make me feel separated from God? When I first started going to church, yes. When I first started understanding there's a bigger God, yes. Because I made it separate myself from God. Once I realized that God didn't look at my homosexuality as something that separated me from Him, that He was always there before I even realized that I was gay. He was there when I started going to church, and I felt His love around me and His kindness around me. He was there when I felt the lowest in my life, and I was still gay. He was there when I was trying to be the best on-fire Christian or go-getter churchgoer. He was there when I felt like I was dirt. He didn't care that I was gay. Does homosexuality separate me from God? No, I don't feel separated from God.
Won't being gay make his life harder for him?
How will our son be treated by the rest of the world?
Is he gonna have trouble keeping a job?
Girl, being gay will do nothing but make his life more fabulous, let me tell you.
I don't think that today, in this day and age, that your son is going to have a harder life. I think that people celebrate people's differences, I think, today, more than ever before in the past.
You know, if he's in a place like Hawaii, all of our laws make sure that he is treated equally and that his access to opportunity is the same as everybody else's.
We are at a time where people turn to these figures in community, whether they're drag queens, whether they're performers, whether they're LGBTQ spokespeople, and they're looking at them as heroes, as role models.
It's not about gay or straight. It's about being the best citizen, the best person you can be for your community.
What if people attack him? How can I prepare him for that? How can I prepare myself for that?
There's gonna be haters, and you just have to make sure that you don't internalize the hate, and you learn how to build that kind of resilience. And it comes from having a strong core. For me, it came from my parents telling me how much they loved me and accepted me, and I was able to really internalize that feeling of love. And from there, anything that came at me, whether it was, employment discrimination or bullying in the schools, I was able to know that that wasn't about me.
You will get attacked and bullied in different ways. I think something that people might not talk about is dating now happens a lot online. You go through Tinder, you go through gay apps like Grindr, and there is a lot of no Asians and no femmes. There's just a lot of things that they do to attack you because it's easy to do that online because you're not saying that to a person up front, and it still hurts you to the bone, and it makes you feel less than a person sometimes, but you realize that's not really the big picture.
All we can do as a community is gather around, support, and the more support we have and the more belief we have in the value of every person's life, in the value of every person's potential, is the most important thing. You can't worry about what might happen. You gotta support what might be possible.
Can our son get AIDS?
That was actually one of the concerns that my mother had when I told her. I distinctly remember she said, "She loves me, she accepts me, I just don't want you to get a gay disease." And I was shocked, okay? I came out as a sophomore in high school, but even then I was educated enough to know there's no such thing as a gay disease.
AIDS is not a targeted situation.
Diseases don't know gender, diseases don't know orientation.
It is a risk to everyone.
We have lost many, many thousands and millions of lives to this terrible disease, and we're finally to a point where if you know and you're educated and you have the right support, you can get the drugs and the medication needed to prevent this terrible thing from happening.
Why did he wait so long to tell us?
Your son probably waited super uber long to tell you because he's probably super scared and because he probably really, really loves you. If he didn't love and respect you, he probably wouldn't even care to tell you. Or if he did tell you, he probably thought it would hurt you. But take it in a way where he really did respect you as his parents, and he loves you as his parents, and that's probably why it took so long.
He probably waited so long to tell you just because he wasn't sure of it himself. It takes time to learn your self-identity, and he probably waited for the right time when he was comfortable enough to accept himself to slowly tell other people. And he wanted to, one, make sure he was gay. He wanted to make sure he was in an environment that he would be accepted. And he just wanted to make sure the time was right. And if he told you, congratulations, that means the time was right for him and that you created an environment where he felt safe enough to open up to you. And that's good parenting.
So, how can we support our son?
Now we're talking. That's the right question. The most important thing is first, I think every child loves to hear that they are loved and affirmed, no matter what. That kind of unconditional love. I know it's hard to say in Asian families. I know it was hard for my father and my mother, but they said it and I ran with it.
Just take that leap. Believe in your child and give them the hope and the opportunity of success.
LGBT children are at a higher risk of things like suicide and drug use because they don't know how to come out. They don't have the support that they need. And if they have the resources and if they have their family support and their friends support, they're gonna be great and not have to, go through these difficult things.
At the end of the day, you can support your son or your daughter just by telling them and reaffirming them that you love them, that you will always accept them in your life, that you support whatever choice they may be as long as they don't harm themselves or harm others. And then, of course, send the money.
If they are LGBT, you'll support them as you would non.
It's just take that whole LGBT gay thing out of there and just support your son.
A straight child and a gay child is still your child.
Mom, Dad, thank you for always encouraging me to be creative and for teaching me that letting people get to know who I really am is okay.
Thank you for giving me all the resources that I need to better my life.
Thank you for teaching me that you can achieve anything with hard work and determination.
Thank you so much for all the support and love that you've given me.
My parents have been very supportive.
She didn't care about who I loved. She cared about who I am and where I was going. And for that, Mom, I thank you.
Thank you for always believing in me and supporting me to find my true self. Because now, I am happy and proud to be gay.
I love you folks.
I love you.
I love you.
And I love you guys so much.